Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Pay attention. Are you listening? You're my favorite girl. Excuse me for a moment. I'm in another world, on a mountain, by a fountain, flowers blooming everywhere. With Venus and with Cupid, the picture's very clear.
Hang the sign up on the door. Said, don't disturb this groove. And I want to say that I'm so into you. And the feeling's so real. Don't disturb.
Whoa, ha, ha, ha. Whoa, ha, ha, ha. Whoa, ha, whoa, ha, whoa, ha. Whoa, ha, whoa, ha, whoa, ha, ha. Whoa, ha, ha, whoa, ha, ha. Whoa, ha, whoa, ha, whoa, ha, ha. I said, whoa, ha, ha, whoa, ha, ha. Take it, XD.
Whoa, ha, ha, whoa, ha, ha. Whoa, ha, 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 ha. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Oh, ha, 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 ha.
I say, don't disturb this groove. Just a way to say that I'm so into you.
That is one of my favorite songs. Like, that is on my top 100. Like, Jade's top 100. That's on Jade's top 100.
Yeah, it's up there for me.
Yeah.
The System did that.
The System did their big one.
yes. Not Milli Vanilli, because that's what I used to call them, because I swore they were. But
Did you watch their movie?
No, not yet. I'm so behind. Well, let's intro the show.
Oh, yes, yeah, that's what we're doing. Yes.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Blackest Show About Nothing here in 2025. I hope everyone is well. To get some quick stuff out of the way, I'm gonna start. Oh yeah, welcome to the Blackest Show About Nothing. Yes. You already know what it is. We got a lot of shit to talk about today, but I do want to start with reporting live from the fires. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you all for checking in with me and Chris Rogers. We're okay. We've opened our home to folks, actively working, getting donations and stuff. LA has, it has come together in a way that I haven't seen since I've lived here in the last few years. And it's been really great to see, even sparring from like, I don't want people to get in this notion like only rich people lost their homes.
Talk about it.
We lost a all black town here in Altadena, historically black, where they didn't allow red zoning, so black folks could actually purchase homes, and so whole neighborhood is gone. And so think about, I want to say, be judicious about when you're posting about this stuff. Like, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Those are the two things that we necessarily need right now here in Southern California.
Yes.
As far as the physical idea, right? So, because it's still ongoing. Today is January 15th, the time of this recording. So the fire is still going on. Fires, right? So at the height of it, it was very scary. Because where we currently live, we were kind of like it was a diamond effect because there were 6 fires going on at once, and we were kind of in the middle of all of them. And so when you look in the sky, like ash is falling down from every direction, and if you live in LA currently, you know that the air quality has been straight basura. You know what I mean? Even worse when we have natural wildfires every year. And so I say that to say, please wear your mask when you go outside.
Yeah, and try to get a
Try
PPP
to
mask if you
avoid,
can.
yes, a specific mask, the N95 or the P100s.
I said PPP like it's a loan.
Yeah, I think
What's
it's
the
P100s and the N95. So essentially, the things that we used
PPE?
back in, yeah, PPE is a thing, right? Is what we all used to the masks and gloves. But I think what is beneficial is to stay indoors.
Yeah.
If you can't, you got to go to work and stuff because life goes on, which is another unfortunate thing, right? Because life just happens. But please continue wearing your mask. And last thing I will say is that, oftentimes when we're faced with crises and stuff, people look to blame certain things. Like people have been pointing blame at politicians left and right. And I guess you could, in theory, but however, the larger issue is just humanity itself. And I think that if this was a wake-up call, and I hope it's a wake-up call for all of us, where if you don't even live in California, but just wherever you're listening to this, to just be more mindful of how we take care of this planet. Because all these fires, we just had a wildfire in the same neighborhood in Palisades last month or earlier on New Year's, like a week before.
Wow.
And so, it's just a wake-up call, like this new reality none of us are prepared for. And if we don't do anything now about it, we won't have a planet to raise our future kids and see our grandchildren.
Say it again. Not to listen. I have been a part of the problem, so this is not a finger point, but we can't be like no hauls. We can't be hauls on the internet, like buying, hundreds of dollars of fast fashion, which is also not good for you, like your body.
Yeah, no, like please, like the carcinogens and shit that
Yeah. There's a reason why the clothes at this point. I was talking to friends over the break, right? And I was like, I was like, for myself, like as I was just saying, I was like, there was a point in time where shopping was not what it is now at all, right? Like we would intentionally go out to go look for
put on
something
your
for
Sunday's
a
best
party.
kids. We're going to Sears.
Exactly. Like it was either us, like we're going out to the club and like I'm gonna go find something to put on if I, have worn my good dress too many times or or it was like, oh, let's take this Saturday and we're gonna go, but it was not what it is now. And I know a lot of that, this overconsumption, this overconsumerism, and a lot of that is because of the availability of it's at our fingertips, right? So it's constantly in our faces, right? Oh, look at these pants. Oh, look at these shoes. Oh, look, and again, guilty, pointing at your girl. But also, we have to be mindful about the way that overconsumption affects our earth. You know what I'm saying? So if you're buying 15 Lycra tops so you can walk down your foyer in your hallway in your house, for the cameras, like that, and then throwing it away, and then it ends up on the shores of Ghana, or the other day they cleaned, I forget how many tons of trash out of the oceans in Bali. But this is where it's going. You know what I'm saying? For just to flex on the internet. And so,
Yeah.
we've really got to get back to a place of being really intentional. It doesn't mean you can't participate in joy. It doesn't mean that you can't buy things for yourself from time to time, but the pendulum has swung too far. The balance is way
Mhm.
off.
Yeah.
I'm talking to myself as well. I'm like, you know what? When it's time for you to go outside, put that shit on. And when I say put that shit on, go in your motherfucking dresser or in your closet or in your chest and see what you have there. Who cares if niggas have
Yeah.
seen it before? Who cares? Like redo some shit. These kids they're all dressing like Japanese street children. They put on everything. You can put
Yeah.
on whatever the fuck you want and you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
So let's just challenge ourselves to start where we're at. Cause I'm good. I'm gonna point a finger at a motherfucking politician. I'm gonna point a finger at an evil power that be. Let's be clear. But also
Yes.
accountability at home is where we have to start. And remember when we were in school, what did you hear all through elementary school? Reduce, reuse, recycle, save the snow leopards.
Mhm.
You know what
Close
I
the
mean?
loop.
So let's get a little bit more of that back.
You're the only one who's finished, pollution.
Captain Planet, he's back!
This is for you, Dr. Blight.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do not be playing on Chat GPT. Do not be sitting there talking about Chat GPT. How do I write a letter to a nigga telling him to suck my dick in 4 different ways? Like that, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not good for the
Yeah.
planet.
No.
So yeah, we just have to be mindful. And I send so much love that so I was telling XD before this about a good friend of mine of a long time now who is from Altadena. And when I tell you mama reps Altadena, okay? When I met her, she lived in New York, but she's since moved back. But what's the very first thing I ever knew about her? She was from Altadena. Born, raised, proud, generations.
Mhm.
And this is a good friend who came and visited me in the hospital when I had Noah. So when I heard Altadena, I immediately thought about her. And so I reached out, her whole family, man, both her grandparents, maternal and paternal, houses they built from the ground up, burnt down to the ground. Multiple
Yeah.
family members, cousins, every school she's ever attended. Like the thought of your life, your whole everything being gone, which we have been talking about, let's be clear, for the last year.
Yeah.
But just the thought of that is devastating. It's devastating. I don't even have
Yeah.
the words for it.
And I just in general, right? The loss has been great, even with celebrities and stuff like that. I know why people are feeling a certain way, like, oh, they could afford it or eat the rich and all that good stuff. And it's just like, I hear ya. These are also people too, right?
Right.
Who have lost memories,
Exactly.
things that aren't replaceable.
Yeah.
That regardless if you find them trivial, they don't. And
Yeah. Absolutely.
and I think about this whole issue is multi-layered, right? Because it comes in at the heels of a big housing issue that we have in LA County, and this idea of that there ain't enough, or they keep refusing. If you know, you know. Right.
Mhm.
So, and then there's this whole bureaucratic thing, right? Because there's a lot of Tiffany Henyard shit going on inside, like there is in every city.
Wayward
there's,
wigs everywhere, okay?
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's it takes so much to get like one permit to get done in this city, which, like, I will say, I have learned so much about like the geographic and the history of Los Angeles in the last week than I have
Same.
ever had been taught in California history, and I grew up in California.
No, real, yeah. Yeah.
And you get how because of course everything goes back to racism.
Mhm.
And I've learned so much in
Everything.
how the redlining and how Altadena became to be and
Yep.
yada yada yada. But then I can't help but think about like everybody's going to try to rebuild at the same time, and the way this current administration is trying to move towards with certain like protections against migrant people. I feel is my issue is that's growing is that the amount of labor that is available would be solely focused on a premium neighborhood and not a different neighborhood.
Well, we
You
know
get
how
what I
that
mean?
we've seen that
Like,
with multiple disasters throughout our personal
what's
millennial
crazy is that
history. Katrina, hell, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on in North Carolina right now. What they doing with those people in North Carolina? Like, we've seen how they treat even the way that the levees were diverted with Katrina, where
but
that is
you know
placed.
what's crazy though? But this is gonna go back. You know how I say I shout like you're not white or Englander? A lot of people, Altadena's not a poor neighborhood. You know what I mean? So, like, by any means. However, I feel like there's going to be a lot of different people who are going to scream like, "Hey, what about us?"
Well, you know
And
what? You're right. And I think also because I've been trying to figure out how to keep, betwixt all of the genocides,
because it's still going, even though there's how you pause a war for 15 months.
Hold
But
on.
we'll talk about that in a
Oh
second.
yeah, we about to get to because don't worry. And no, the whole episode's not news, but you all are gonna
No.
get your news. All right.
Yeah.
And that's just that on that. But I've been trying to figure out like how do I keep my head right, because these genocides have fucked me up on top of our own domestic issues, which are also connected.
Because we opened with the domestic terrorist
right.
attack upon, Bourbon Street.
And the ways that I owe the fucking IRS so much money. Like I am paying so much money. Hey, we were sisters.
Yes.
I owe I'm paying them so much money, and yet y'all are.
Yeah.
I'm about to tell you what's happening with those monies. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's all connected and it's fucking me. And on top of that, paying these niggas lots of, I don't know why I'm paying you all so much money, because I'm over here like trying to pay for this nigga's ballet and pay rent. And you know what I'm saying? I can't afford to buy a home in my city. Like I can't do that. So
I have a whole nigga to feed. And like that's
I have multiple niggas to feed. Trill's not cheap. Noah is every day she wants more dinner. Like
I need to like my issues.
Every day it's like, oh, you what?
Adventures at PetSmart.
Last night she was like, can I have more potatoes? And I was like, what? Once upon a time you wouldn't have finished this plate. What is going on? So, and then y'all, someone tried to set our building on fire.
Oh yeah.
Like a couple night mornings ago, a couple days after we're getting all of the news of this devastation in California, I go to bed and I am startled out of my sleep around 3:30 in the morning by smoke and like heavy smoke smell. So obviously I'm like, oh my God, is our apartment on fire? So I race out, running to the front to see what's going on. Noah's running to me. Do you smell smoke, mommy? Yes, I smell smoke. Tristan, what? Yes. There's at least 4 fire trucks outside. So it is Christmas, even though it has passed. There are mad firefighters in the street. It is not our apartment. Come to find out, some young nigga left on the way out the building at 3 something in the morning. Took a light. All of this is on camera. Took a lighter out of his pocket and lit the paper recycling in the trash room on the way out the door. And the trash room is literally below, like I'm on a different floor, but it's a couple floors below, but directly my bedroom, which is why I smelled the smoke so heavy. So we're safe, obviously. I'm sitting here recording this episode. But it was fucking scary. And my first thought was California. You know what I'm saying? Like what we experienced was on a very small scale compared to literally like you trying to run for safety out of your neighborhood while also trying to collect your basic necessities and whatever memorabilia you can catch on the way out. You know what I mean? Which goes back to your point about, you know, I know there's been in the TMZs of it all and all that, like there's been a lot of emphasis on celebrities, and I know there's, like you said, there's been a lot of conversation around,
there's entertainment value about surrounding this, right?
But also on a human level, from Billy Crystal down to, you know, Hank the mechanic in Altadena, somebody's grandkids' pictures were still on the wall in a frame. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's little golden shoes were still sitting on somebody's fireplace. Like, you know what I mean? So on a human level, I was just like, I have boxes of my great-grandparents' pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a blanket and booties that my great-grandmother knitted, you know?
That you can never replace.
That I could never replace. Like, there are things like that, and all I could think was, goddamn, we have to put on some pants and get the fuck out of here and grab Trill, and we wouldn't have been able to. And our fire safety thing of documents that I can go to every Social Security office or whatever the fuck and get again. But stuff like that, I cannot replace that. You know what I mean? And then you think about it. You don't even think about all that stuff, because then you're just thinking about who is in your home breathing that you love and making sure that you all are safe. Like, there's so many layers to it, and I feel so deeply for all those people who lost all of those things. And I feel even more deeply for our community who does not necessarily have the means to go and replace the monetary things so quickly, and, you know, outside of just the sentimental loss that so many people across the board face. But, you know, we're going to get to our normal steez in just a second, but we do have to do our updates. You know what time it is. We're on day 467 of the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Relentless day and night attacks, especially on North Gaza. Remember, North Gaza was besieged over 100 days ago. We were talking about it before the break. We are back still talking about it. So there's a lot of attacks still happening day and night, as well as the West Bank. There's been ceasefire discussions supposedly happening, but in the midst of all of that, they've been targeting homes in the vicinity of the Al-Ali Hospital, the Daraj neighborhood. They killed yet another journalist and his 3 sons. In the West Bank, they're arbitrarily firing shells and missiles at homes. They've re-abducted an already freed prisoner, and they shot and injured a kid. All of this is documented. From the Kamal Adwan Hospital, the director, he's been captured by we talked about that before the break as well. He was taken into custody by the IOF. That's Dr. Hussam Abu Safir, and he's reportedly being held at one of the most notorious torture camps in the West Bank, which is called Ofer. And the really sad thing about Dr. Hussam is that Dr. Hussam was very vocal about, he has his own family. Let's mind you, he has children and a wife. And he refused to leave the side of the people as all of this genocide is ongoing. He was like, I'm gonna be here until I can't be, because I'm not gonna leave them, especially as my staff is getting killed, as all of our resources are getting taken away. So for him to be being held at a torture camp for literally saving people's lives is absolutely ridiculous. My sister is a nurse. I imagine my sister in this, and my sister is being tortured, being captured and tortured because she's a nurse helping people. Like that, put that in perspective. The propaganda is still ongoing in the United States because Secretary of State Blinken says that Hamas has replaced nearly all of their killed fighters with new recruits. I'm like, so of all of this going, this is what you report and this is what you speak on? And what the fuck do you think is going to happen when you're killing off people's whole family members? You leave one behind. You think they're not going to be hurt, angry, livid, ready for resistance? Anyway, in central Gaza, they're targeting fishermen with gunboats. Kind of fucking evil is that? Yeah. And they're still targeting tents. 10 members of Netanyahu's Likus, I don't know how the fuck you pronounce that party, signed a letter opposing a ceasefire. And Ben Gvir, who you hear about his evil fucking ass all the time, is threatening to reside in good. Bye, nigga. Scoot. We're on day 641 of the ongoing genocide in Sudan. And some good news. The Sudanese military, the SAF, gained control of Medani, which is the capital of Jazeera State, after 14 months under RSF control. And that's good news because the conditions under the RSF control were absolutely horrific, inhumane and horrific. So if you go on Sarah's page, Sarah BS on Blast, she has a video that shows places all over Sudan, in Sudan and outside in Qatar and Egypt, of Sudanese people celebrating the release of the control of the RSF, because at least that gives them some peace of mind, some bit of good news. The SAF is also making gains with a recapture of a number of towns and villages in Jazeera State and making advances in Khartoum. So the more that they can at least get the power away from the RSF, the less torture there will be. Not saying that the SAF is innocent in all of this or that they have not done their own, but the RSF is like pure fucking evil. You can go listen to the episode of Getting Grown. Sarah came on and really kind of explained that history and really kind of explained that conflict of what's going on. But in the aftermath of recapturing Medani, there have been reports of the SAF allied forces carrying out extrajudicial killings of civilians accused of collaborating with the RSF. The SAF has since released a statement denouncing those killings and calling them individual violations. So there's still a lot of work that has to be done. There's still a lot of aid that is needed in Sudan. The civilians are still the main people that we want to focus on that are being targeted in the middle of all of this. They're the ones who are suffering. With that, according to the UN, 3.2 children under 5 in Sudan right now are acutely malnourished, with 700,000 suffering from the most severe and life-threatening forms of malnutrition. So I'm working with XD. I said it on Getting Grown this week, and I'm saying it here. I'm working with XD on creating some links in our link trees of our shows, because I know sometimes the description box is hard for you all to locate. So we will have a hub where aid that we have researched and you know, made sure is legit and all of that is listed, because above all else of just learning this information, we want to make sure that we're putting action behind that and figuring out ways that we can help the people who need it, which is the people like us. And that's across the board. California, Detroit, New York. There was fires in New York and the Bronx, and a whole block burned. You know what I'm saying? So like we always want to focus on the people. That's the focus here.
Yeah. Actually, I could say confidently by the time you're watching this, I'll do a scan thing. So scan your screen, scan your ID, and it'll take you to a link of where you can find all those links to help those in need.
Yes. Woo. All right.
Yeah. Yes. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more Jaden XD. We have to. I can tell you right now, you want to come back because we're talking about shitting. So
They're like, I'm not coming back. They're
Yeah, I'm not
like, why
coming
would
back
you
for
say
that.
that? No, please
I
come
know.
back.
Please
I had
come
to
back.
please come back.
Hit it, Claude.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We've just ended the hottest year on record. Again, second straight year, Earth globally was the hottest year on record. And not only was it the hottest year on record according to 6 different measuring systems, but 4 of them found
And we're black. So, Jade and I have
No.
not recorded
Oh.
a main show. We have not been here on the main stage in over a month. And normally when Jade and I go on vacation, we talk, but we don't really talk. And the reason why is because of shit like this. Would you like to tell them what happened?
Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay.
you know, I was like, all right, you know, I'm taking this little break or whatever. And I'm also going to take a little mental break just from news and news across the board. You know what I'm saying? From the Gulf of America to the Middle East. Like I was like, I just need. I'm not gonna make it. So, in order for me to be an aid in society, let me just take a break, which is a social media break, as well. And you know, this is what I get for going against my spirit. I am, you know, just perusing, and XD sends me a message. I'm like, well, what's this nigga sending me? And normally it's some extremely dark humor that we can't even share on like this show, the $99 level tier of Patreon. You know, it's true, Jaden XD. This is a news segment or something.
I want to say it's a TED Talk.
Okay, yes. Yeah, it's something serious, right? And when I look at the content of it, I'm like, no, what? So I immediately close this out, tell my ancestors I'm sorry for going against what I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing. And then I call this nigga here and I said, why did you send that to me? Like, that wasn't even for us to laugh evilly. Like, this was, like, why?
No, it's not.
Because it was about people shitting in the street. And I'll let you take
Now,
it from
to be
there.
fair, this is not a laughing matter because this is I guess with further research, it's a public health issue, right? What happened?
I'm sorry. Breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
Israel and Hamas reach deal on Gaza ceasefire and hostage release.
Oh, yeah, I mentioned that because I was like, it's like a pause. It ain't for real.
A ceasefire reached to end 15 months of fighting. No, this is not a 15-minute pause. This is not like those original.
Oh, it's for real.
No, this is a hard. Now, y'all know I'm not getting my hopes up too.
Right.
But yeah.
I love live up to date news. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. They have not officially announced a deal, although Hamas official Bassem Naim confirmed to NBC News the militant group had agreed to it.
Which militant group? Israel?
You know what the hello. You know, first of all, let me be clear. This article is coming from NBC, so you know.
Okay.
You know, eat the meat, spit
right.
out the bones, and read between the lines.
Okay.
Under the plan, Israel will withdraw its forces eastward from densely populated areas of Gaza. Well, what about everybody? Oh, okay, let me not be the internet people. According to a portion of the deal shared by Hamas and written in English. Hamas, meanwhile, will release 33 hostages in exchange for 100 Palestinian prisoners with life sentences. Israel will also release 1,000 Palestinian prisoners that were not involved in the October 7th attacks. Okay. Well, I don't like the tone. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the information. So we will see what happens. Everybody light your candles, throw one in the air. Let me roll one right now.
Moodiana.
A spiritual one. Just okay, back to shitting in the street. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Shitting in the street.
Yeah.
Shitting in Chicago.
Down in New Orleans.
Shitting in the streets in New York
City. All we need is music.
Sheet music.
Okay, so essentially it was a piece of a TED Talk, and this lady, if you hear it,
let me find this fucking video.
Okay, you got it.
Okay,
I'm gonna play it right now because I had to send it to Chris Rogers because it left a whole.
Send it to Abe so he can put it in this right here.
I shall.
So what that means is that most of the open defecation that happens in the world happens in rural India, and most rural Indians defecate in the open. Every day, 500 million people in villages in India go in the fields rather than use a toilet or a latrine. That's bigger than the population of the United States.
All right. Now, I just want
That's bigger than the population of America, is what she said.
So what I would like, my first question to XD outside of why the fuck did you send this to me was who is taking this data?
Like, that's a hell of a question on your census, right? Do you shit outside? Yes or
no? Like, I have read Cast. I have watched Origin. I understand about the quote unquote undesirables. I know about all of it. I know about that labor. I know all about it. And yet, this has nothing to do with that. This is stats on how many
Open
people
defecation.
are shitting in the streets. And I want to know who is walking around collecting that information.
Yeah.
Why is this study being conducted?
I guess to show, I guess, I don't know what this would help, right? Like, is it to bring clearly to bring awareness, but is this to help with like the need of plumbing in rural areas to circumvent like disease and things? But it seems to me that people are fine, but I don't know. I need to see more data in relation to open defecation, barely. But 500 million people.
But see, you're irresponsible, for even sharing that without even doing your due diligence to see why this study was being conducted. See, you said earlier that like you need to ask yourself when you share things if it is helpful, if it is useful, if it is, you know what I'm saying? And so you didn't do that.
Yes, it is. It is because now we're having a dialogue. Like, that's clearly this person's intent, is for us to have a conversation, to invoke change. So here we are here on a public forum discussing open defecation.
No, because now I'm about to just sound like a shade room comment section. What the fuck do niggas shitting in the street in India got to do with me? Like,
because if it can happen over there, it happens here too. So
Well, it
Listen.
definitely happens here because we are at our most skyrocketed peak numbers of houselessness that we've ever been at in all of motherfucking natural ass history, nigga.
This is about to sound really bad. But like when I first moved here, we lived in Koreatown. And like people have this, that reminds me, I need to tell you about this gay movie I watched.
No,
or this
you
gay
always
show I
do this
watched.
to me.
But it's about gay Koreans in Koreatown. Yes, it's juicy.
Speaking of which, make sure you all go check out the Patreon this week for the ABC show where XD made me watch a French subtitled short synopsis on a film about slavery in the French occupied West Indies. That includes like
The Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
Randomly.
And then like some gay shit and some traditional
Blackberry.
African spirituality, a Blackberry and a pipe.
Scarface, and a
And a Scarface t-shirt. Oh, and also a biracial. So go get your lives. And the video is only 20 minutes.
It's less than that, actually. It's truncated down. It's less than that. It's like about 15.
The way you share information is how I know the way you would poison somebody. Like, I'm serious. It would never be slow. Nick, it would never be slow. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be like over time. You are a nigga who wants to go for the gusto. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have a nigga drink bleach and then just whatever happens from there. But you want it to be quick and dirty. You know what I'm saying? So you give nasty, potent information in very like concentrated forms.
Well, that brings me to the next topic. Anyway, have you been watching The Traitors?
No, but it's on my list. I told you that I have delved into this hateful white woman that I didn't know was hateful when I started the show. And now I can't stop.
Oh, The Good Wife. Yes,
Yes, I think I'm an attorney.
That's fair. The Traitors has, by the time you all listen to it, it'll be 4 episodes out by now. 4 or 5. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
This season has been the most chaotic. If you don't know, it's a big ass game of Mafia, right? And this particular, it's on the Peacock and it has a whole bunch of celebrities on it. This particular season has several Survivor winners. My fave, Jeremy Collins, one of the few Black winners we have.
Okay.
That I respect. Well, I respect all that.
No,
Wendell cheated. Wendell cheated with Toe on his girlfriend with Toe.
Yeah, he
so
did.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he did.
And the other one, Earl, he's faded into obscurity. No one knows where the fuck he went.
It's always a nigga named Earl.
Yeah, I think it's Earl or Matt. It's something weird. And then there's Vesepia, who's iconic.
You know, I got 17 cousins with the middle name Earl. But like my grandfather didn't have a middle name, so I don't know where it came from. But anyway, go ahead.
That's weird. Why Earl as just the...
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't... I know. I need to do a deep dive.
But anywho, in this particular season, who would be the mafia, the people who are killing people, is Bob the Drag Queen.
Fitting.
Yeah, Danielle Reyes from Big Brother early season, and Carolyn from Survivor.
Carolyn is on there with Bob?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta go watch.
Come friend, come foe, come one, come all to the Highlands to see who lives and who falls. Emmy winning The Traitors is back for an all new season.
To get the job done, I'll stab you in the back. I have a thirst for blood.
And when I tell you, Carolyn is the best one on the show.
Really? Like in terms of what?
Surviving gameplay. Because we know that Carolyn's kookiness gets her way. Because there's no way Carolyn could be the murderer or the traitor. She's so weird and wacky. Main one.
Carolyn is like reality TV's Elsbeth. Like, to the point where you think like, oh, this bitch is loopy. She can't. No, this bitch knows how to get shit done. Carolyn did that same shit on Survivor. Her nutty ass got won because.
Well, she got to the final.
Or the final three. Who won that season?
Jam won.
Oh yeah, Jam won. Jam. Oh, where's Jam? But Carolyn got to the final three and was not a GOAT because she knew how to play the fucking game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to go watch.
Yeah.
Should we watch it? Or are y'all doing the thing?
You need to watch it and catch up. And then you and I can we could talk about recaps.
Okay.
Because I'm not doing it with the Black Swatch girls. So.
Okay.
We might be able to talk about that. I know Chris Rogers wanted to talk about it, so maybe we could have like a joint.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that you would really enjoy it because of the fact that Bob is very entertaining. It's the first time Bob has been on TV because We're Here is an outlier.
Yeah, I've never watched We're Here, and I never really was pulled to.
I don't like. This is my issue that I have with Queer Eye. Like, I don't like this idea of having to be the exceptional sissy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't like exceptional anything.
We're Here. They were going to small towns and finding the gay people and uplifting them. Yes. But I'm also I'm tired of having us to prove ourselves, our humanity to people, right?
So they're uplifting them, and what else they doing?
I don't know, putting them in drag and having a drag show every week on We're Here.
So this was MTV's made, but with drag.
Yes, but HBO's We're Here. Basically, we're disrupting the scene because I remember the first episode, they went to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and what was it, Shangela? And Shangela, who's the other one? Was it Latrice?
It was Shangela. Oh, for the first
Latrice
one.
Came on the second one.
It was Shangela, Eureka, and Bob.
Yeah. And then so I remember they had to talk to racists, and then they're doing I'm gonna read you and blah blah blah. It's just a lot of nonsense that it just wasn't for me.
I'm surprised Bob did that, actually.
I'm not. But I'm not.
You know what?
But I say all this to say Bob on a competition reality show is one of the greatest things ever.
I can imagine.
And because you would think Monet would be, and Monet probably will be whenever she gets casted for these things. She watches Monet.
Monet wants to go on Survivor. Something serious.
Bad.
Yeah, something serious.
So bad.
Yeah, and I want Monet to go on Survivor.
Yes, but I really want Monet to be on Big Brother, not necessarily on Survivor. But I
can't speak to that.
Yeah, and basically, and I want Bob on Survivor. I want them to swap. And I want both of them to be on Amazing Race together because that would be a hoot. But
I don't want to see Bob on Survivor because I don't want to see Bob do physical challenges. That's not shade. It's just, I don't know why. I just feel that way. They
have physical challenges on the Traitors.
They do? Not like Survivor physical challenges. I like how Bob's mind works. And I like how Monet's mind works, but I know I'm not explaining myself well here.
I get what you mean. No, I totally understand. They would have two different sets of gameplay, right?
Yes. I can see Bob doing the puzzle challenges and I don't know. The
thing is, I need you to watch all. There's only 3 seasons of American Traitor, so you've only missed 2. We're in the currently 3rd one. I want you to watch all of them just because you have a keen eye about because you went and watched all of Drag Race. So I feel like, because maybe we'll have LaToya in on this conversation, but there is a point, because I know you're going to get annoyed by the Housewives.
Yeah,
because
I can't with them.
There's a large conversation on the internet surrounding traders because they are attacking Bob.
Oh.
Right? Because the Housewives fandom thinks that Bob is lying. Because Bob, we all know, you and I will consume sibling rivalry. We all know Bob don't watch TV. And he definitely not watching shit that Survivor or Housewives. He don't like them hoes.
No.
So the Housewives girls have been getting eliminated on the show.
Okay.
And he's not
Which
the one
Housewives
that,
girls are on there?
Robin Dixon, who surprisingly is amazing on this show.
Robin Dixon. Oh, that's one of the Housewives of Bisque. Okay, yeah.
Potomac. Yes. There's this new girl, Ayan, who looks like Iman, but she's on Real Housewives of Dubai, which I didn't know existed until I started watching.
Until right this fucking second.
Yeah.
What?
But she's sickening. She was dressed as Madeline for half the episode, and I got annoyed.
Bread and butter, Madeline?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
And then there's Dolores from Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Is that after I stopped? Dolores. I used to watch with Dina and Teresa and Caroline. And Danielle.
Dolores didn't come until Teresa went to prison.
I watched the first iteration of Atlanta.
When it was good and relevant.
Right. Atlanta and Jersey, I think. And I think that might be it.
Prostitution whore.
Whore! Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When bitches was there was RICO charges and shit. That's when it was a good time.
Yeah, and then last was Dorinda from Real Housewives of New York. And
I've heard
Bob
that
was
name.
now Bob was I don't watch these shows, so the internet thinks that Bob is lying. And they're also just being super sensitive. And this is why I hate when all my worlds collide, because it's Survivor players, Big Brother players. There's a WWE person on here. Nikki Bella's on the show. And so it's there's so many people and so many different opinions. It's
also the fandom of all of those, the fandom in general, but the fandom of all of these iterations of all of these players on this show are unhinged, imbalanced human beings. You know what I'm saying? Who are not well. And so, you blend.
I've watched Survivor every episode for the last almost 25 years, and clearly there's something wrong with me.
No, because
it's true. I'm agreeing with you.
But you have a line though where you're not gonna write in and threaten people for doing the fandom of Drag Race, of Survivor, of Big Brother.
Those racists.
Oh, them people
F words.
Yo, they get in the mood, and they to. And I'm like, what's wrong with you all? But that maybe that's humans in general, because that's one reason why I do delve into comment sections, because it shows me just how motherfucking sick most people are.
Chris and I were talking about Stanship a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the power of Michael Jackson, right? He stood there for 20 minutes and niggas were just dying in the audience and he didn't do anything.
I mean, passing out, crying, throwing up, farting, diarrhea. They would, those white
and
people.
All he did was
just be they used to, please go back and watch VHS tapes of white people at Michael Jackson concerts.
Watch, even if you watch clips of Moonwalker and shit, they are.
He comes from a place beyond the stars to take them to a world beyond their dreams.
I don't like melting.
I hate
when they threw water on the Wicked Witch. Really?
I do. Oh. I hate Moonwalker.
What?
I don't know why.
Whoa.
It's like,
wait a minute. You can't, you just came out the closet. Wait a minute. You hate Moonwalker? Are we confessing the black shit we hate today?
Huh.
I'm not, but this is you.
I don't know what it is. It just don't call me like that, my nigga.
I didn't know you hated Michael Jackson like that. That's crazy.
I don't hate Michael Jackson. I don't hate Michael Jackson. I don't hate Michael Jackson. I love Stevie Wonder. No,
Why do you hate Moonwalker though?
I don't know. Like I just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we need to go back and watch it for the ABC show.
We will now.
I think maybe you know what? I'll give. It has also been like 30 years. maybe
it's one of the first visual albums.
I know. Maybe because it has literally been 30 plus years since I've seen it that I need to do a rewatch. I'll be fair.
Michael Jackson's things, because do y'all remember Blood on the Dance Floor?
Yes. And also,
that was hit, actually.
when the Jackson 5 had to become the Jacksons, you know what I'm saying? They started putting out visuals. It was visuals. We do need to do a deep dive into the Jacksons, the Jackson 5, Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson really is one of my favorite Virgos. I also,
of course he would. Why wouldn't he be?
Yes, one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
Why would he not?
But I also, Michael Jackson just sparks like a interesting feeling inside of me. Of so many feelings. Where, so many questions, so many feelings, so many thoughts, so many memories. So, yeah, maybe we should just do a little delve.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Because that's important.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to hear what happened during your break. So let's take a break.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be back with more. Hit it, Claude.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
At this level, we're likely to see more extreme weather, sort of like what's happening in California right now. We are going to see more wildfires, more extreme heat, and sometimes even more extreme cold because of changes in the jet stream.
We're back.
Yay.
Yes.
The break. I have to remember, actually. Did I tell you about my duck hash? Oh, okay. That might have been at the very top of the break. So, you all have been asking for a very long time about a cookbook. And not saying I have not considered it or thought about it. It just gives me great anxiety every time I do. I have been working, on a long-term project for a long time, and I'm not doing that. Like, I can't tell you about it. It's not one of those. It's just I've been working on it. It's in the works. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that takes many years to develop. But I created my first recipe where I said, okay, cookbook is happening, like actively. Like, all right, I'm getting ready to like put intention into this because this fucking hash that I made, my nigga, was so phenomenal. Like I stopped and had to give myself my just due. You know what I'm saying? Not in an arrogant way, but just like in one of those moments where you're like, damn, nigga, I'm really proud of you. Like, that is phenomenal. And it was the first time where I said, because it was original. It was something I thought of. It was something once I thought I toyed with it. And it turned out really, really good. I made it for our girls' brunch, and then I made it again on Christmas morning for our Christmas breakfast. It's a duck confit hash. And I'm just going to leave it there right now. But it was a duck confit hash with a cherry compote.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I did gumbo on Christmas because I didn't want to do, the whole spread or whatever. So we did gumbo. The break was really quiet, which I really needed. We left the house one time between Christmas and New Year's and all of that. We left one day. It was to take Noah with my cousins to go ice skating, which was a test for me, right? So I almost wore my Free Palestine sweatshirt that day. That day, I almost put it on. And then it wasn't that I was like, no, I'm not going to wear this today. I just ended up wearing something else, you know, that it was a little warmer and like, you know, just put together a different outfit or whatever. We get to the skating rink. Everybody must have said, this is the day we're going to get our kids out of the house. And I will just say, I should have worn my sweatshirt. I should have worn my sweatshirt that day. I should have gone with my first mind that day. You know what I'm saying? And Tristan said it to me when we were at the skating rink. He was like, you should have wore that sweatshirt. I was like, I know, nigga, right. I should have. It was also that day, you know, how we've been going back and forth about, like, niggas can't be smoking crack at 20. Like, they can't be new smoking crack. You know what I mean? They're absolutely smoking crack.
Oh, no, they are.
Yeah, yeah. My little cousin asked my other cousin he goes to pick her up from school. And she's like, what are those little orange things? And he was like, listen, never touch them. Never.
Oh, the charbroil? Oh, no.
Never touch those, ever. You hear me? Like, don't kick it. Don't go near it. Like, don't touch them on her commute. Because, you know, the Lower East Side right now and drugs, especially since COVID, it's motherfucking. Okay, baby. Put your side ponytails in your head and put your biker shorts under your skirts because we're about to be just another girl on the IRT. It's about to be a time. Yeah, they smoking crack, nigga. Like, and they're young, smoking crack. Like, they're trying it now as if it was just introduced by the CIA.
What's a bigger trap, marriage or having kids? I think having kids, because you can't do the same stuff. At least in marriage, you guys can still smoke crack together. If you got kids, you can't. You got to like put that to the side or something like that. Exactly. You got to put the crack at least 4 years or something like that. Once they turn 5, you back in the game. Yeah, because then they can babysit themselves. They'd be like, get over there. And they'd be like, it smells like plastic, daddy. And they'd be like, it's plastic time. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. I see a lot of active young crack use in DTLA. Especially around like in front of 7th and Fig. You know that shit got shot up?
What?
Girl. Okay.
No, not
so much shit has happened.
Wait.
So much shit has happened in Los Angeles and this was New Year's Eve, I want to say. The day before New Year's Eve or something, because Chris and I were there. Go to Target downtown LA. Because we were down there. Do the shopping, blah, blah, blah. Leave as normal. 2 hours later, we turn on the news. Some man done shot up Target and shot up 2 security officers. Critical condition.
Oh, Lord.
Like, literally, like, 90 minutes. Like,
what?
Like, after we got it, like, left.
So this is, that's frightening. That's like that time me and Shariel went to CVS so she could dye my hair. And I mean, when I tell you, we must have passed the nigga. We were walking out, he was walking in. That bitch got robbed immediately. Yeah, nuts. Wait. Okay, you said this was New Year's Eve?
It was New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's Eve. One of those
because
days.
What was in the air? Because I don't want to go into it. I don't feel like getting into the whole discussion, but New Orleans.
Yeah.
And all those lies that they keep trying to.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on in the world.
Yeah.
Like, these last 15 days. And you know what? It's always been the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, January 6th. You're right.
It's just the end of the previous year's crashing out, right? So, like,
that's a nice way of looking at it.
I don't really, like, sometimes, mess just spits. And by February, we pick up the bounty and we wipe it up and we start anew. You know what I mean? But this is a little wild to me.
No, this is big wild boots.
Like,
this is
remember 2020 started with the threat of World War III, and then Kobe died.
Oh yeah.
And then 3 months later, everybody died. Like,
and
you
then
know
the
what
next
I mean?
year was January 6th, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you're
I
not
can't
wrong.
recall what happened the last 2 years of January because it's a little bit of a blur. But
Also,
beginning of January is always wild.
It's not lost on me that shout out to the Friend Zone. They do their book club on the Patreon. Make sure you all check it out. And the last book they did was Parable of the Sower, Octavia Butler. Octavia Butler is buried in Altadena. And Octavia Butler, the theme of Parable of the Sower is fires. The theme of 2025. Not saying that she predicted what's happening in California. She talked about that, yes. But even when I was thinking about that nigga with that Levi's jacket with those big white flowers on it, lighting our fucking trash room on fire. Like yeah, and me and Fran were texting about it and talking about the themes of 2025 being fire in Parable of the Sower. And so, I'm about to get back into it. It's been a while. That book came out in 98. So it's been a while. But remember, and Handmaid's Tale came out in the 80s. 85, I think. But you're not wrong. It is like a spittle. It's a spittle of all of the shit. And, then it starts getting warm and people, balance out a little bit. Maybe I don't fucking know. But, find ways to keep your head and your heart and all, just in the chaos of. I feel like the world went topsy-turvy when teenagers stopped using Noxzema. And, Clearasil. And they started getting refrigerators and serums. Like the world, the imbalance kicked in.
Can I tell you what happened to me at Sephora the other day? What? Or about a month ago, actually. So I've been having some real skin issues. And so, the dermatologist I want to go to is booked, but whatever the fuck. So I'm looking for some shit in the meantime to figure out, right? Now, I have seen this phenomenon happening on TikTok, RIP.
It's not gone.
Not yet. They have until the 19th. They have 4 days.
Oh.
Yeah, until they find an American investor. Which I have complicated thoughts about that. Because people are like, it's controlling free speech. And then I'm also like, yes, and it's also giving information to power that doesn't like us. So it's kind of like a...
It's also, you know what? No, because that's classist of me. Let me just
Foreign policy is very difficult when it comes to this because people always tend to see one side and it's kind of like, yes, and everybody forgets the and part.
It's also the overconsumption of just like tech and media and you know what I'm saying?
And I gotta be honest, like
bitches getting rich because they beat their dogs with bags of frozen peas, and it's like they post 25 videos of pissing people off, and then they make money.
Well, yeah, and then like
I'm like, what?
Everything is selling like these cancerous products that feel
Temu, Shein, Temu, Shein,
it's all
Temu.
The same thing. Yeah, it's all a lot. But what was I saying? Backtrack.
Sorry. Yeah, my bad. TikTok, rest in peace, TikTok. You said it led to that because the rest in peace, TikTok, because
what I learned from TikTok. I know I learned from TikTok.
Because rest in peace, TikTok, because that was a side point. Oh my God. Okay. You know what? While you think about it, I'll share some information with you. Oh, over the break. You know what else happened over the break? Oh, should we take a break?
No, we good. We just took a break. And that's the problem because I can't take a break because I'm trying to remember what the fuck I was trying to say. And I don't want to go back because then it has to be
over the break.
Whatever.
Jimmy Carter died. Now, remember Jimmy Carter, he was 100 years old. Jimmy Carter, one of the presidents of the United States. One of the... tried to have a redemption trail after he got out of office, you know, and make amends for all of his Caucasian wrongs, you know, but the North remembers and, you know, whatever. But rest in peace. You know, I can't be mad at, I guess if niggas' hearts go in, anyway, I'm not here to fight for Jimmy Carter.
People that go to heaven. And
right. Yeah, exactly. So Jimmy Carter, the most interesting fact that I found out around that time is that he's cousins with Berry Gordy.
Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Woo. Everybody just have a good time. Party rock is in the house tonight. Oh.
Yeah, because Jimmy Carter didn't have white friends or anything until later in life.
Wait, hold on. Parable of the Sower, Themes of Fires, 2025. Octavia Butler. Rest in peace, TikTok.
Damn, that was the
okay,
point.
sorry.
What I learned from TikTok. Shit. Oh, and if I figure it out, it'll end up in another Patreon.
But yes, Jimmy Carter and Berry Gordy are cousins.
Yeah, because Jimmy Carter did not have black friends or anything until like high school or something. He had a very Negro life. Or he didn't have a Negro life. He was surrounded by Negroes.
Yes, but also when he was not president any longer, remember he like started speaking up for apartheid and you know, just trying to do all of that. So I don't know if like
he also told us about what was going to happen in Gaza.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He wrote a book about it once.
Yeah.
It was like,
yes, he did.
Y'all, if y'all don't get it together.
Do you want to know the craziest part about that? I told you like one of the shows that I picked up to binge was The Good Wife. Do you know, I want to say the day he died, I watched an episode where they were, somebody had called out Big, Senator, Alicia's husband, Peter Flory, had called him out for having a copy of Jimmy Carter, of that book. Yes, and then it ended up being his daughter's book or whatever because she was interested in what was called the conflict between Israel and Palestine at the time. But yes, so the day that he died, that's where I'd gotten in my binge watch. Isn't that crazy? But yes, Jimmy Carter did write a book about the genocide and the occupation and all of that. But cousins with Berry Gordy, Motown's finest. Mike Rinder died over the break.
Yeah, he did. I thank you all for sending us Mike Rinder. If you did not know, he was the top chief at the Church of Scientology and ended up leaving. And after he left, he ended up working with Leah Remini, who left the church, and they began to work together to help those recover from the cult of Scientology. So he died of cancer, and he had it for a few years now. Because I remember when he got it. Even before the pandemic, I want to say. So he's been fighting it for a while.
Yeah.
And so he passed away over our break.
Rest easy, Mike Rinder. What else happened over our break?
We lost the Vivian.
Oh man, that was that was that. And you want another? I told XD this over the break actually, but you know how we've been talking about drag breaks and you know we're the over saturation and commercialization of drag. You know how it's taken away from local queens and so forth. Howsoever, you know, when you are in the house and you are consuming things where you want to take your mind off of everything else that's going on in the world, I got the nudge. I wanted to watch All Stars, All Winners. And I wanted to see Jinx. And I was like, I just want to watch a season that I know the whole thing is good and it's, funny. And it was just a nice watch while like cooking and doing stuff. So I watched the All Stars, All Winners just before the Viv passed as well. And so having her talents fresh on the brain made it extra sad. You know what I'm saying? Because she really was a talented queen who, if we remember, was very vocal about her struggles with addiction and relapse and recovery. And so that's not saying we have no cause for how we don't know how she passed, and I'm not putting any open speculation out there. But it was a loss. She was really, really, really just a pure talent. Like outside of the commercialization, she was a talent that I'm glad that we got to experience.
Yeah, me too. It was very sad. It's always, especially when she was so young, 32.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who are queer, who are looking to, look to these queens for a beacon of light and stuff. And I hate that beacon of light is gone for them and for the family too. This was a really rough one. I thoroughly enjoyed the Vivienne and anything that she did. Even them whack ass Wild Productions, I watched them.
Yeah. And her videos with Monet, their collaboration was very funny actually.
Yeah, like she's one of the few people that I gather that was like genuine. Like, you know what I mean? Like there are a lot of queens out there, especially the white ones, who I do not bang with. You know what I mean? Because I don't necessarily A, find them talented, or B, find them as worthy of all the attention that the Black queen should be getting. You know what I mean? But the Vivienne, she was a special one.
Yeah, she was.
Is special. And
she is. Yes, you're right.
It
she
really broke my heart when I heard about that.
Yeah, lots of love just to her spirit and all of those who really got to experience her and are hurting from her loss. So yeah, that was a sad one.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I know.
I don't know where to go from here.
I don't either, actually. I think, it just is what it is. Like, it just is what it is.
What it is.
We have already planned our show for next week. I don't think we have done this before, but we are going to do our Auntie Jam's favorites of favorites. So just our favorite songs of all time. Obviously not all of them, but a list of some of our just favorite songs of all time, personally, each. And bring, just try to lighten up the new year. And we coming back with more Jaden XD energy, but we can't help what the world is doing. And fuck you, nigga, who tried to light my fucking building on fire. May your fucking big toes fall off and you be off balance for the rest of your goddamn days. May you lose your thumb so you can never light another lighter again. I pray that from the depths of my soul intentionally, nigga. All right.
Same to this man named Orlando who stole my food today. So.
Wait, what?
I ordered Uber Eats, and I've been avoiding it, and so I've been like, okay, I'm gonna order. I'm gonna tip them very well because it's bedlam outside. They got to the Montana downstairs. I'm waiting for them to ring the Butterfly MX.
Oh God, useless fucking system.
And I'm looking out the window. I can see somebody's pulled up. I'm assuming it's for me or whatever, but whatever. And then they drive off with my stuff.
What'd you order?
I can't talk about that on the show, but
why?
Just know. Because the internet hates when I.
Oh.
Actually, no, I'll say I ordered Chick-fil-A. I'm going to stand in it. Again,
I mean,
let's
listen.
be clear. The CEO who is a homophobe, no longer is a CEO at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A itself no longer donates to those super PACs. Just the former CEO that personally does.
Also, I mean, you're gay. Like,
and again,
you know what I'm saying?
I've already explained. If I, me as a black queer person, if I were to like boycott every fucking thing that was against me, then I would have to be my own sharecropper. You know what I mean?
That's your own right. That's your own right.
Right. You know what I mean? And there's so many gays that work at fucking Chick-fil-A.
Hello.
Who are me to remove business.
I told you about that young man who was at the
local-
original one here. His name was like God's Light or something like that.
Yes.
You know?
God is love. Yeah. And he is, yeah.
On that note, we're gonna go because I was about to turn into my father, and you know I didn't mean to do that. So
Don't get to me putting my red hat on, okay? Until next time.
I'm on Orange Alert.
Yes, we're moving